All right, so building a house on raw land is child's play once you know what you're doing. In this episode, I'm gonna talk about how to build a house on raw land. Hey guys, welcome back. In this episode, I'm gonna give you a step-by-step process that shows you how to acquire raw land, how to build a house on raw land, and some of these steps are actually working simultaneously together. So don't look at this as like a linear fashion, almost know that you're gonna have to have some of these steps working simultaneously in conjunction with each other. All right, step number one is obvious. Like you need to pick your playground, pick the area that you wanna build on, or maybe you already have a parcel of land in mind, or maybe you're interested in building spec homes and making an absolute fortune doing it. Then I recommend actually reaching out to a realtor and figuring out where everyone's going to. Or you can look at Zillow. I call it the Zillow solds. You want to look and see where all the houses are selling in a particular area. And I like to look at about a 30-day to a 3-month example, seeing where most of the yellow dots are coming in. And I call this the Zillow yellow dot cluster. This is going to show you where all the areas, the most interested or the hottest areas where people are the most interested in buying and building a house in. All right, so that's how you kind of pick your area, or you might already have one figured out. Next, you need to contact the county and see what the setbacks are. See what the minimum parcel size is. See if you can even build on the land that you have in mind. You want to know, okay, what's the minimum size? What are the setbacks? Setbacks are, it's pretty much how close you can have your home or a structure to the property line. A lot of places are 25 feet to 50 feet on the front. You just want to know what your county setbacks are. And then also ask the county, what can I build here? Is this zoned for mobile homes? Is it zoned for single family residential? Is it zoned for multifamily? You want to know what you're actually allowed to build there. The next step would be to go ahead and contract a builder. One way is driving for builders, seeing who's building in the area, getting recommendations and referrals. And then that builder is going to be pretty much the guy that holds you and walks you through the whole entire process. Now, you might be an owner builder where you're kind of running things. I prefer to be the guy that's building and letting the general contractor run everything. But the general contractor or yourself, you're going to want to go ahead and hire a surveyor to go out and survey the land and see exactly where your points are to know where you're going to have to put the house. And then you go out and actually draw physically where the house is going to go, because then you're going to request a foundation. And that's where they got to come in and either add dirt or bring in dirt or take out dirt, you name it, but they're gonna do this by running a soil test or a bore test, depending on where you're at in the country. So a bore test is simply as, taking a couple scoops with a mini track hoe and just seeing what the soil looks like, because an engineer goes out there and sees like how much shell rock or how much dirt or how much sand. Sometimes you gotta bring in certain sands, sometimes you gotta take out certain stuff, because there's something called a percolation test. You want to make sure that your septic system will percolate into the ground. But maybe you don't need a septic system. There might already be sewer lines running there. So that's going to next bring me into, where are your utilities? What kind of utilities will you have? Are you going to be able to tap into the sewer line that's already existing? Or is the sewer line too far away and the county will allow you to do a septic system? These are things you want to know, and these are things that a builder will help you out with. Next is water. How are you going to get your water? Are you going to have to drill a well? Or is there city water already close by? Or is it community water plant? How are you going to get the water? Next is electric. Where are the electric poles at? How far are you going to have to run? Is there a transformer close by? And then finally, how are you going to heat the house? Is it going to be gas or electric? Is there natural gas lines already? Or are you going to bring in a propane tank? These are all things that you really want to know, and a lot of times a contractor can help you with this situation. Next are going to be building plans or architecture drawings, like what size house are you looking at? Does the contractor that you found, do they already have, spec home drawings and plans that they already own? Or are you going to hire a architect to build you an actual custom design for your house? And then next, we're going to actually break ground. Once we have the building plans, we're going to break ground and start digging out that foundation, start laying that foundation. Are you going to have a crawl space? Are you going to have a basement? Or are you just going to do a simple slab on a grade? All these things. On a lot of areas, you either have to have a crawl space or a basement. Florida, we can have slab on grade. Colorado, we need a crawl space or a basement. Most of the houses I've built have only had crawl spaces. You also want to know what type of building you're gonna go with. Are you gonna do with a regular stick-built building where you build it, where it's outside, wood siding, wood inside, or you're gonna do a concrete block structure, CBS home, where you stack concrete blocks, or you're gonna do a metal, like an actual red beam home that has metal siding or steel siding, or a mobile home, or a modular, or a manufactured. The difference between a modular home and a manufactured home is a modular home, you actually have a crawl space or a basement that you can stick a modular on. A manufactured home is generally tied down to piers that drill into the ground. You don't actually have to have a concrete pad for a manufactured home. So there's just a couple of little technicalities with those. So just know what kind of home you're gonna build in that area. And a lot of this comes from actually the planning and zoning. They kind of tell you what you're allowed. Are you allowed to put manufactured or mobile or modular? Or is this a PUD, a planned unit development, where they actually tell you exactly what type of house you have to have in that area? And then next is the walls and the roof, and eventually you do the interior. Once you get the shell, then you can start working on the interior. But there's a lot of things that happen simultaneously, and I cannot recommend more than ever hiring a good contractor, so one that's come referred and recommended, and he's actually doing business in the area. Guys, if you're interested in building a house, or you got a friend or a family member that's thinking about this, share this episode with them. Guys, if you're interested in doing this for a business and actually creating wealth through this and flipping your way to massive, massive profits, I've currently teamed up with a guy named Dan Haberkost. This guy is building a tremendous amount of houses, and we're actually building houses together. If you're interested in learning more about the program that we put together, where we actually walk you through step by step and hold your hand during the building process and show you how to flip and build spec homes and create wealth from it, head on over to ibuildfreedom.com and schedule a call. Again, that's ibuildfreedom.com and schedule a call. All right, so I want to give you a story of one of the first houses I ever built. And I didn't build the house. I ended up ordering a modular. We purchased a piece of land that a buddy brought to me, and it was actually a house that had burnt down in the Black Forest of Colorado. There was already electric on site. There was already a septic system on site. There was already natural gas running right by the house, and there was already a well that we just had to do a couple fixes to. And we already had water and gas and electric and a septic system. So we went and ordered a custom modular home. This was a beautiful house, and we ended up doing this all without a general contractor until the very end, when it was time to start pulling the permits. And I failed my way forward with this, but ultimately failing my way forward and building a house on this raw land earned me about $90,000 in income. Now, granted, I did have a partner on this. He brought me the deal, he helped me with the funding, and we split $90-something thousand. But this was a great first lesson. And I'll tell you, the biggest lesson I've learned, and you've probably heard me mention it multiple times, was hire a general contractor that can help you through this process. Because now me and Dan Haberkost, we do this together, and we have a general contractor that helps us with these, and it's purely passive. I'm not the guy out there meeting the electrician. I'm not the guy out there meeting the crane operator. None of this is happening with me now. I'm just basically showing where we want to put the house. We buy the land and we build the house on it. So if you're interested in checking that out, head on over to ibuildfreedom.com.